You might be wondering, who is this? Well, if you don't know her already, that is Taylor Swift. Yes, the Taylor Swift. And if you know her, I know there is one song written by her that you find to be catchy, whether you want to admit it or not. That's because Taylor Swift is one of the most record-breaking female artists in the entire world. She has so much history behind not only her name, but also her albums. I have been listening to Taylor Swift since I was about 4 or 5 years old. I would put her music on when I was in the car, doing homework, hanging out with friends and family, or just anything like that. I even went to her most recent tour, the Eras Tour, here in Glendale, Arizona, which was night 1, and she put on such a spectacular show. Most people have noticed that she has decided to re-release and re-record her first 6 albums. But when she re-records them and releases them out to the public, she includes the original name. So for example, we'll do her album Fearless. It'll be Fearless, and then in parentheses next to it, she'll put Taylor's version. My name is Reese, and today I will be talking about the first 6 albums that Taylor Swift lost the rights to, how she lost the rights to them, and her overall reactions from her fans. Let's do a little history. Taylor Swift released her very first album at 16. She's since released 10 albums, 6 of which she has lost the right to. Those 6 are Debut, Fearless, Speak Now, 1989, and Reputation. When Taylor Swift first started her music career, she signed with Big Machine Records at the age of 15. So even though she signed at 15, she didn't release her first album until she was 16. She then recorded her first 6 albums with that label group, Big Machine Records. In an article written by TheWeek.com, they state, majority of Swift's work was released under a deal she signed with Big Machine Records when she was 15, which gave the record label ownership of her masters. This agreement with Big Machine Records was 13 years, which is pretty ironic, because 13 is one of Taylor Swift's lucky and favorite numbers. You can see it a lot when you're listening to her music. Once that 13-year agreement was over with Big Machine Records, she decided for her own benefit not to sign with them again, although she would soon realize what this meant to her. This left her first 6 albums up for grabs. In an article written from Pitchfork.com, they state, in 2019, Scooter Braun purchased the master rights to Swift's early albums after he acquired her former label group, Big Machine Records. Not being able to own the rights to her own music was very tough for Taylor Swift. Not only had she put in so much time and love into those albums, but now they weren't even under her own possession. So, in April of 2021, Taylor Swift released one of her first re-recorded albums from the 6, Fearless. When she released the album, she named it, obviously, Fearless, but then added on Taylor's version. Since then, she has now released 4 out of 6 of those albums that are owned by Scooter Braun. The feedback from her fans from re-recording and re-releasing these first 6 albums have been so amazing. The only 6 she has left to produce or re-release is her very first album and the last of the 6. The first is Taylor Swift, which is her debut album, and the last is Reputation. A lot of people like to say she just needs her name and reputation to get back. The feedback from her fans was so immense. I mean, they loved it. They were able to see her grow and compare and contrast her music from when she was a young teenager to now grown in her 30s, or her mid-30s. In an article from Forbes.com, they state, thankfully, Swift's worries were put to rest, as her re-recordings have all proved to be massive triumphs. They also continue to say, Fearless, Red, and Speak Now soared to #1 on Billboard 200. I mean, I could say that it was a pretty high success for Taylor Swift to release some of those albums, or those first 6 albums again. Next time you're listening to Taylor Swift, I want you to think back to those first 6 albums she has released, how she lost the rights to them to Scooter Braun, and her fans' overall reactions. So, I want to know, what is your favorite Taylor Swift song? What song do you find yourself humming along to when you don't even notice? Thank you.